there's all these people counting on, my leadership. So it's not only myself, it's my team. Yeah, it's cool, those big deals. They're
Cool.
really cool, but
Cool. I never heard anyone say that. That's great.
but you gotta think long term.
All right. You're a beacon of light for your team, leading from the front. It's hard not to follow you, buddy.
Thank you for joining us on our Family First Life Tri-State Serve the People podcast. We appreciate you tuning in, spending your time to develop and grow with us. Follow us, please, on all our social media platforms at Family First Life Tri-State or FFL Tri-State. We love you. Keep listening, and I hope this information is serving you across the country.
Welcome to our Family First Life Tri-State Training Day podcast. I am excited about our guest today, who is making it rain and burning it down from day one, January 1 to now, entering into this fourth quarter Life Insurance Awareness Month. I got Jason Khodadadian, Senior Vice President of FFL Mazal, an elite producer, Hall of Famer, crushing it through the year. Just going to finish strong. I'm excited about, what you got going on, Jason, because you're out there actually serving the people. And as you know, that's something that's near and dear to us. So thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for jumping on. How you doing today, my brother?
Great. Blessed. I'm very blessed. Can't complain. Thank God. Happy to be here.
Thank God, Thank God. So thank you for jumping on with us, buddy. I know you've got a lot of good things going on where you're at. And I'd love to hear about some of this. If you could do me a favor, though, if you can give me a little bit of a backdrop, kind of where you're coming from, how'd you find FFL, and, quite frankly, how did you get on this type of success trajectory? Because you're crushing it.
Let's make it short and sweet. Obviously, I was at the practice company, and I was just crushing it there. Obviously, and Instagram, which is huge, is where I found FFL Instagram, and that's when I hit you guys up, and it was just game over. My life changed. Every September, August is going to be my 1 year anniversary here.
What?
Just passed. Yeah, 1 year anniversary, August 21st. I just got the email the other day too. My life changed. I was just miserable at the other company. Not just financially. Financially, obviously, huge part. Mentally, my wife wasn't happy. She's like, "What are you doing? You're working crazy hours. You're worth more." Okay, and then that's when I was like, you know what? She's right.
So you said you were crushing it at the practice company, and at the same time, you were saying you were miserable. So clearly, when you say your life changed, you're speaking to a place of no longer being miserable, right?
Oh, hell no, I'm as happy as can be. I love waking up in the mornings.
That's amazing. But talk to us a little bit about that. Like, what made you miserable at that time, and then what's changed that's made you wake up every day happy?
Okay. So, for like a guy like me, my work ethic is not. If I go be a waitress or a waiter, my work ethic is gonna be the same. I'm gonna grind it out. I'll probably be promoted in 2 months. I was doing the same thing over there, and the dollars versus the hours weren't counting up for myself and my family.
Got it.
So I came to another vehicle, same grind, crushing it, but I'm making 7 times the income, if that makes sense. And even more, I didn't even calculate.
7 times.
I'm gonna say keep it real with you, bro. I just bought a Porsche 3 months ago. I'm getting it delivered in December. I could never do that in the other company.
Okay, that makes that sums it up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I spend money here. Like the leads, the money that I spend on the leads is astronomical, but still making. Still making.
That's amazing. So now, that's a very clear delineation between the practice company and this. But there's also something too. You said the same grind. That means that the rules are different or the system's changed, right? Because if it's the same grind.
Same grind, meaning my work ethic.
Yes,
Like
sir.
over there, I was still waking up early, still doing what I need to do, putting my head down, doing everything that I need to do. Nothing has changed from there to like, in a sense, it's not like I worked over there only 50% and I'm working over here 100%.
Right.
Obviously, I'm going full throttle here because of the potential.
Right.
There's no limit. I'm gonna work till
yeah.
I'm dead over here. I'm gonna work till the wheels fall off. But does that make sense?
Yes,
The way
it
I'm
does.
saying it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay, great.
It's just, yeah, same grind. I didn't not work over there. Just working.
Did you see it right away? In other words, you had to make a decision to come over here. Obviously, what you saw was enough for you to say, "Let me make this move." But did you see what you moved over here for right away?
No, of course not. I was scared, like everybody else. Come on, I'm not Superman. I was scared. I had no idea what's going on. I still don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what, I'm still learning every day. I have no idea. No, of course I didn't. I just know that over here is a better future for myself, for my family, and number one, for the team. There's all these people counting on, my leadership. So it's not only myself, it's my team.
Right. I love
That
it.
makes sense.
Well, you're out there blazing a serious trail. How many families have you helped from the start of the year till now?
I believe it's 580 to be exact.
So we're in September, Life Insurance Awareness Month, just to reiterate that, and you're at 580 families so far through the year.
That's correct.
That's significant. That's crazy. That's good. Now, before I get into anything, how are you doing your sales right now? Are you going face to face? Are you telesales? Are you hybrid? How are you set up right now?
I've never been in a home since I've been here. That was a huge part that I wanted to transition. Wow. I've never, a lot of telesales.
So all telesales.
That's correct.
Love it. Are you booking appointments or are you doing call to close?
I have a few bookers. I have like 3-4 people calling, the live transfer bid. I got endless leads. So I have a little bit of everything. Like in the morning, I have people sending me, like my downlines, the people under me, I split deals with them. They send the client with me. I buy the leads. And so everybody eats, out of the close. So I have a bunch of different things. Obviously, a lot of people can't afford those live transfers. So I don't mess with it too much because I want to duplicate myself. So I try to do eggs in everything, have CRM, everything. But if I get a client ready to go, my number one objective is call to close. Make that deal in 10 minutes. Boom. That's my goal on every phone call.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about you getting someone on the phone. How do you typically go in and establish yourself, and then what are you doing to help them understand that we can do this right now and we can get you guys protected?
So a lot of people think that I'm very aggressive. I think it works. I'm straight to the point. I say, hello, how you doing, Mark? I see that you requested for final expense. So I'm a big final expense guy. I'm a big, I'm not so much into the IULs or all that stuff because final expense can be duplicated. Anybody can do final expense. Cremation, anybody can do that. So I always pitch in final expense. And if they want mortgage, obviously I'll do the mortgage. but I'm a huge funnel because it's the bread and butter. Funnel expense is bread and butter.
No
Just
doubt.
throwing that out there. So, hey, how you doing? I see you made that request, and you're located in Pennsylvania or whatever the state is. I confirm that with them, and then they're like, yes, and I just do all that confirmation stuff, and then I explain to them. So it takes about 5 to 6 minutes. We can get you instantly approved today. If you don't have the money today, we can push that out. I just put them at ease, my first introduction. And then once I get into deep, so I asked the permission for them. I was like, is that something you'd like to go ahead and do today and get you
Got it.
covered? I asked the permission to present. I'm like I asked them, am I allowed to do that? I submit myself. If they say yes, I know it's game on. If they say no, next phone call. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a yes or a no. Everyone's gonna be a yes or a no.
Not complicated, right?
Yeah, I tell my team the same thing. I'm gonna tell you the same. Every day we got a 50-50 chance of being multi-millionaires. Every day. We got a 50-50 chance. And those are high chances, bro. 50-50 is a lot.
I love that. That is good. That's great perspective. Those are high chances. I love it.
Those are high chances.
You are correct.
They're going to say yes or they're going to say no.
That's really good. Very true. Those are high chances. Wait, what better way to have high chances? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's not like we're selling shoes. It's not like a 25% they're going to say yes to the shoes and no to the life insurance. They either want what we have or they don't.
And that's the way you roll.
That's how I look at it. Mm-hmm. That's how I roll. Some people think I'm aggressive. Some people think I'm crazy. Some people think, I just don't have time. I need to make the calls. To make like 400 to 500 calls a day.
400 to 500 calls a day?
Yeah, that's what I need to be to hit those numbers.
What are you Okay, this is great. Let's talk about number one. Are you using a phone system, a dialer like phone burner or something like that?
Old school, bro. Old school.
Bing, bing,
dialing,
bing, bing, bing,
smiling,
bing, bing, bing.
Smiling and dialing. Smiling and dialing. Old school.
I love your attitude, man. Cool, dude. So what are you doing then for leads for that type of production?
Everything. I know Ivan mentioned, Ivan sent me some lady for mortgage protection. I bought some from her. Mostly I do instants. And when I get that email for the instant leads, that's my main squeeze. Whatever I can't close, I'll send to the team. I get that email at midnight whenever there's new leads in my area. I buy instantly. Even if I don't need them, I make sure it's in my, just stocking leads. So if I don't have, or if I don't need them, or if I'm not working, I'll give it to them to run, and we'll just split the deals. A bunch of stuff. Again, there's those live transfers. They're expensive. Not everybody can do those, but everything, every type of lead. Just need a name and a number. Everything.
Love it. How much are you typically spending a week on leads?
Averaging is like $5,000.
$5,000 a week in investing?
Yeah, I try not to, but it's better to do it.
Yeah, you're making money. There's a return.
Yeah. It's better to do it, even for the future. If you don't have a good week, like it's gonna happen in 2 weeks. You're gonna get the money back.
What would you say to an agent that is struggling with the idea of investing $1,000 a week in leads?
There's a lot of ways to tackle that. So for the future, like let's say if I spot them, you got to sit down and talk to them. Like, okay, if I give you $1,000 today, are you willing? And you turn my $1,000 into X amount of dollars. are you willing to start doing that on your own? You got to feel them out. If they say, it's work for me, it's work ethic. The people who show up, I'll support all day long. If it's somebody who's struggling and they're not, flaking and they're not really dialing and they're not doing, that's good luck to you. Like, I can't be everyone's Santa Claus. Like, bye bye, Charlie. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody who's grinding out is struggling, I'll give him more than what he needs because he's grinding out. And I'm sure that money, if he needs 2K, 3K, he will turn it out because this business is all about grinding. The yeses are gonna come. If you have 9 people who's that guy who said that quote? You might miss 9 times. Number 10 is gonna say yeah. Right. Same idea here.
Right.
The 10th one is gonna say, sure, I want to spend X amount of dollars. It's gonna happen. It's a fact. It's proven. Right. I've proven that. So that's how I tackle the struggling people with that situation.
Love it.
Like you got to sit down, see what how devoted they are to this. Okay. I deal with that all day long.
No doubt. Now let's say you have someone who's willing. What are some things that you're ensuring you do to make sure you train agents or put them in a position to win?
Well, number one is, I test everybody out the first couple of weeks. A work ethic for me. I'm always so this might sound corny, I lead by example, because I don't want to preach to my people, listen, do X, Y, and Z, and they can come and say, hey, Jason, why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z?
Right.
No, bro, I don't, no, it's not going to work. I don't ever want to be belittled like that. I want them always. So if I tell them to go cross the street, make a left, go into that door, and go on that shelf and pick that thing up, they say, okay. Why? Because I did it. I do it. That's it. So that's how I do. I don't like to be, it might sound that I have an ego. I just don't have time. So I lead, I put in the work, so everybody else listens. And it works. The ones who listen are successful. The ones who don't listen are not successful. I don't know if I'm coming off as,
very simple. Listen, it works. At the end of the day, we do these podcasts. Everyone's style is completely different, Jason. Everybody's coming from a different perspective. Everyone has a different background. Everyone is risen or driven differently. I just want to know what works for you, because someone's going to listen to what you're saying and go, that makes sense to me. That's my guy, and that's all that matters to us. So I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
Sorry, I was just going to say that I'm from New York. A lot of these people are from different, I put in the ground, I'm a hustler from New York, but nothing you put a knife in me, there's no blood coming out. That's, my father was an immigrant. We came from a hardworking family. This stuff is a piece of cake. I owned a jewelry store for 12 years in New York on 47th Street. So this stuff for me, I can't call it. It's going to be hard to get me. You get what I'm trying to say? It's going to be hard for me to feel, any sympathy. That's just my mindset. That's why I grind. That's why I put it in the grind. And every day when I wake up, I act like I got nothing. I'm poor. Zero. Every day, zero for me. Every day. Zero. So far, I'm at zero today.
How did you learn that?
I don't know. I don't know. You laughing at me? You're making fun of me? I don't know. I can't tell.
No, I'm really enjoying your disposition and your swag behind it. I think it's
okay.
It's
I hope. I don't want to be coming off.
I totally get you.
I hope so.
So, what do you think? I just asked you a question, which was, how did you get that way? This whole every day I start at zero. Where did that come from? How does that stay there?
So I had a very hard life. I had a very difficult life with my parents, with my father. My jewelry store for 12 years went south. I made good money there. but I don't ever want to put myself in a situation, or my family or my wife, my kids, to ever be in that situation again, to financially and mentally to be stressed. So the way I handle that is waking up every morning as if I was that person 4 years ago, just, out of business, got nothing. Today's my first day at work. We don't know what the hell's gonna happen. I gotta be nice to the boss mentality. Put the guard down, make your dials, make yourself, have dinner, and go to sleep. So that's what keeps me grounded, because I know that's how I do it. And that's what I tell everybody, because it's very easy. You know, money is very good. It's very, very good. It's also very bad. I'm gonna just say it's the root of all evil, and it's also could make your life amazing. So you gotta be grounded every day yourself and pray to God, say thank God that whatever you have, whatever you don't have, and have that mentality has helped me personally, that I got nothing. That helps me put in the grind every day, that I got nothing. And don't keep count of how many families I've protected. Just pretend every day is a brand new day. Helping families.
I love it. That's one for the books. I mean, a lot of people can really grow listening to that over and over and over again. I think that, we're trying to instill that seed every day, Jason. Like,
really? So let me go one level further. Every time, like Monday was a great day for me, like killer day, like maybe 12 families on Monday, right?
mm-hmm.
Most people will be like, a couple of people on my team, like, oh, you don't take Tuesday off. So my mentality is, bro, I don't even know what's gonna happen with that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know UW, like cancellation. We don't even know.
Right.
So that's why I put in the grind. Like we didn't, nothing yet. You've been around longer than I have. So I don't know. Like, yeah, it was a nice day, but we don't know. So put in the grind again. Tuesday, put in the grind. When we don't know, and whatever sticks, sticks. Whatever doesn't, we do our best. That helps me also, because I pretend whatever I did is not for certain. That's also a good way to help me do that.
Yeah, makes perfect sense, man. And now let's talk about it. With your setup, telesales, what are you doing from, a systematic standpoint to make sure that, again, like a Monday you helped 12 families. I'm not saying every day is like that, but certainly you're having an immense level of success week in and week out, because it's showing up in your monthly, yearly issue pay numbers. So when you are approaching the sale and helping families with this telesale, can you walk us through a little bit of your presentation, if you will?
For a telesale?
Yes, sir.
Or my team?
Just you personally selling over the phone.
A lot of people get skeptical. I have to walk them through the NIPR to tell them who I am, or I got to do FaceTime or Zoom just to reassure. Sometimes I got to whip out. I always got my ID here too, to show them the face matches whoever Jason is on the Department of Insurance. So that's a hurdle that I get through sometimes, but if you do enough rebuttal and gain the client's trust, you won't have to do that. So I got my Zooms going on from 6 a.m. to about 9 p.m. It's like around the clock, 7 days a week. We have multiple Zooms, like a training one. We have one for recruiting. It's just constant. If I have to hop on to help a client or show like an illustration, it's just constant phones and Zooms, pretty much.
Got it. Now, as far as your, what you're doing when you get with those people, like at the end of the day, you're saying it's a 50-50 chance, yes or no. If they say yes to your opening question of, is it okay if I kind of that we go over this now? They still have to make a decision. Do you feel like at that time they made a decision that, yes, they're buying insurance? Or do you feel like...
No, we got to go a little bit more.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Can you walk us through
so
that portion?
Correct. So my job is to get you the most amount of coverage for the cheapest price possible. I'm a state licensed agent. I go through that whole spiel. Like I do everything backwards. I ask them, do you have a certain budget? Most of the people I'm dealing with are on SSI, and they have that $50 to $60 budget. Like on Monday, I had a couple of people who had higher ones. That's why I hit that. Like my first deal was like $400 a month. So it was good. But so I get the breakdown, and then after I see what they want to spend, so I'm like, so you're looking for a cremation, final expense? Is that correct? I try to put in the yes. Yes, we don't looking for much. Okay, sure. Then I verify the date of birth. Right after the date of birth is the social. I don't want to say never. I 90% don't have pushback with socials, because I don't. If you ask the right way at the right time, you won't have these rebuttals. I'm starting to see that. But if I do, I have to whip out, Department of Insurance for them to go check out. After I get the social, height, weight, beneficiaries, then I ask the mother's maiden name. So I do a lot of Aetna because it has that security question verification for telesales.
Yeah.
It supports that.
That's great.
So that's my personal thing, and they do. I love that. But if I can't run it now, we have to do something else and do emails, whatever it is. Same formula. I get the mother's maiden name, driver license, as much as I can, just to protect myself. And if some people don't want to pay today, I let them know it won't be enforced until the first draft. Most people are okay with that. I can't control that. So the way I run my business, like my first week of the month is going to be my strongest week, because anything I'm doing today is probably going in for 10-1 or 10-3 or 10-5. So if you see the number, you always see my first week will be. So anything I'm doing is prior. So whatever I'm working right now for September is all October. Whatever I'm getting September, I did already, if that makes sense. And it works. Because if not, some people just hang up the phone. Like, oh, I'm not getting paid to the 28th. Bye.
How do you? So
I can't control that.
Right. When you're trying to keep, good persistency and have those policies stay on the books, do you find that the first, third, fifth help you, or do you find that you have to double back that once they draft?
I see that it's helping me because I'm staying within the budget. I'm strictly budgeting. Like my bread and butter is $50. Like I'll do 4 or 5 deals a day that are $40, $50. That's it. Like I'm doing a lot of apps. I'm sticking lower budget. Sticking to their budget will stay on the books. Okay. Yeah, it's cool, those big deals. They're really cool. But
they're cool. I never heard anyone say that. That's great.
But you got to think long term.
Right.
Because most of the people, when they see a chargeback, they'll start having a panic attack. Me, I got one this morning. I'm like, nah, bro. When I see a chargeback, if I see 1, I'll write 5. If I see 2, I'll write 8. So I attack those. I'm like, oh, I'm going hard today. That's how my mentality is. I get into a fight with those chargebacks. I'm like, oh, you want to charge back? You know what I'm saying? I get in a fight with it. But most people, they get so down, they think it's like the end of the world. I'm like, bro, this is the name of the game. Like this, like Sean Mike said it too. He's like, you write to a policy, 1 is going to cancel. He said that. Sean Mike preaches that all day long. Like, it's part of the game. You got to. Like, he said that yesterday, I think. He's like, bro, you like the overrides, but you don't like the chargeback. That's a name of the game. Like, you can't, this is not,
Right. Dude, I love your makeup, man. Seriously. Love it. Love. You're cool as a fan, but you're aggressive. You're attacking. You know, the right kind of attack, which is really a care for your clients, your business, and what you do for your family. And you're honest and transparent. Like, it's hard to lose if you're you. You know, and I mean that. So if somebody's listening, this is not a bad approach to approach life and business, in my opinion. So, dude, I appreciate you taking the time to share. You guys are, as a company, you know, going to finish the year north of, 5,000 families helped. I mean, how does that feel?
I just hope we can do more, man. The more I got 2 death claims last week at 5 in the morning. The lady, it was only 1 month old. So I had a whole thing on Zoom. Sorry, this is just off the topic. And I was like, this is what I thrive for. And you get the chargeback after 1 month. You get the chargeback, and I'm like, you know what? That's a blessed chargeback for me, because the lady was crying on the phone. It wasn't much, the death benefit, but the fact, I don't know. I love doing that. I wish I could have delivered her the check. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's what gave me why I get. That's a huge. I wish. I don't want to say I wish I would get those phone calls more, but I love doing that. I love getting that phone call. I don't know how. Maybe it's coming
Sure,
off the wrong way.
You love serving them at that point, and that when they're at their lowest, and you're coming in to really solidify the work you've done and be there as a support beam. It is addicting.
Wow, my job. This is why I did my job. Yeah, it was amazing. It's like 5 a.m. in the morning. It's like they were on the East Coast. Like, it was crazy. It's a crazy phone call. Like, we started crying. It was just crazy.
Dude,
to answer your question, it feels great, bro. It feels amazing. I love it. It gives me satisfaction mentally more than financially.
I love it, man. Well, you're doing great on all sides, man. So thank you so much for jumping on our Training Day podcast, Jason. You're crushing it. You're a beacon of light for your team, leading from the front. It's hard not to follow you, buddy. So appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely, everybody. Thank you. This dude's breaking records. We're going to continue to break records. We want to continue to set the pace. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. God bless. Thanks, Jason.